Welcome back to Nerd News Today. I'm Matthew, and in this episode I have my hands very full, literally here, because today we're taking a look at the Diamond Select Gallery PVC diorama of the Green Goblin. And yeah, no, legit, this thing is enormous. I was not expecting a piece this big when I ordered this guy. He's huge, he's massive. Let's start talking about him. So the Green Goblin, aka Norman Osborn, has been a thorn in Spider-Man's side since the very beginning. You can't think Spider-Man without thinking Green Goblin because those two have been at each other's throats for years. And this statue celebrates that green madman in a really cool and very enormous way. So let's just start talking first about this box here. I know most statue collectors aren't going to be keeping them in the box, and I think you're not going to want to, but obviously you can already see this box is enormous. And you've got windows on the front over here to let you see him from a front angle, as well as two on the sides to give you a full look into him, as well as that great Diamond Select sunroof, which I think is perfect for Green Goblin because, I mean, he's on his glider, so he needs to bust out of this thing right away. Now, on the back of the packaging here, if I can turn it around, because it's really big, we have really good bio about the Green Goblin here. It tells you a whole lot about him, everything you need to know, and even more. So that's really cool. Always appreciate a good bio on the back. We also have a great product photo here, so you can see what the statue looks like without a box on it. But most importantly, it gives you the credits of who created this piece. And this Green Goblin was designed by Caesar and sculpted by Alterton. I actually talked to both those guys back at my Toy Fair 2020 event, and they told me all sorts of things about how they make these sculptures. So if you want to learn more about their creative process, check that video out. But in the meantime, I think it's time we get this goblin out of here. And yeah, let's go ahead, take him out of the box and get a better look at him from all angles, because yeah, he is dying to be looked at from all angles. Oh boy. All right, and here is our Green Goblin PVC figure out of the packaging now. But you guys can see this isn't actually the entire piece here, and I'm going to pull back for a second just to show you guys how enormous this is. And the fact is, it doesn't actually even fit in this backdrop setup that I have here. So that's how enormous this Green Goblin is. And I don't just mean the verticality of the piece, I also just mean lengthwise too. He's a very large, enormous piece. So I'm just gonna, for the most part, probably not be showing too much of the base, or I'll have to do it separately, which is what I normally do anyway. But I think what I'm gonna do first, before I do anything else, is just give you guys a quick rotation and give you my initial thoughts, which are not just me going, oh wow, he's so big. But yeah, he really is enormous, and that's kind of amazing. It's very impressive. But even just looking at it now as it rotates, you'll see there is so much more to this piece than meets the eye. This is an amazing version of the Green Goblin. And fact of the matter is, this is a PVC piece, which means it's much more affordable than if this was a resin piece. But you're not losing any detail here. I mean, this thing is just knocking it out of the park in terms of the amount of details here. You can see a little glimpse now as everything's rotating how much is going on in here. Like, they really designed and engineered this thing to a T. I am so blown away, maybe not the best choice of words with what's going on in the base here, but I'm so blown away by how much is going on in this piece. This thing is gorgeous, which is the thing I thought I would never ever say for, well, anything really related to the Green Goblin. So let's just start first and talk a little bit about that head. And I want to show you guys what this head looks like here. This awesome Green Goblin face. That's like just such a frightening visage right there. Great sculpting, of course. Beautiful paint job on it as well. This is really good. You know, the Green Goblin is known for this kind of look. I mean, you know, he is to Batman what Joker is, you know, like he's just got this real awesome look to him. And I'm getting another little rotation just so you can see more of the sides of him. He's such an important counterpart to the Spider-Man mythos that, you know, there's a lot of little details to him that are very important, and if overlooked would pretty much, I would say, just completely ruin the piece. But everything in here is just like so superbly detailed. Like, they really got it all. I love the face. I love the facial expression. You know, like I was saying about Joker, you could probably paint this guy's face white and almost call him a Joker, just in a Goblin outfit, which is kind of fun too, though. But I mean, yeah, just the expression on his face is perfect. I mean, that is such a Green Goblin face. The grimace is amazing. The smile is great. All the work under the eyes, really good. Speaking of, those eyes are real frightening. I mean, this is like really kind of a throwback the way they did the eyes here. It feels very much like an original Ditko drawing of the Goblin, you know. It's really good. And I love the hat too. The hat is such a cool part of this piece because you can just see, like, talking about long and how everything is in this piece. That hat is so enormous. Like, they went to town on that hat. They had a lot of fun with that hat there, and you could see it. It's just like, look how big this is. That's so nice. So let's start talking about some other parts of the statue, though, because the likeness is great. I mean, the Goblin face is amazing. Can't really say enough good things about it. I think I want to spend some time talking about what really stands out to me, and that's the texture. And that's the texture on this entire piece. And again, we'll do another rotation here just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But there is a lot of texture on this piece in many different areas. So aside from the face, which is, it's one texture, you know, the fabric has got another thing. It's actually, it might not be the easiest to tell here, but it does have a rough texture to it. It's not just a smooth, flat surface. There actually is some dimension to it so that it can feel like fabric, and that can then light like fabric too. But what I really like is all this like goblin chainmail going on. I don't really know what to call it, but that kind of like pattern that you're seeing on his legs and on his arms here, which are, you know, basically exposed because the purple outfit is just kind of like doing its own thing essentially. Yeah, just, this is great texture. Like, this is really nice. I don't know what to call it. I mean, some people think they call it the fish scale armor too, because Captain America has the same thing. I don't know what the heck to call it, but it looks amazing. Just, yeah, great job on the texture, because that's what's really going to also help separate this thing and make it really stand out, is that it does have the texture going on. It's not just painted on detail, it is 3D sculpted. So it's all there in all the dimensions and all of its glory. And also, same thing too with this leather bag here. It's not just a smooth bit of leather. There actually is some texture to that as well. And of course, how could I also forget, I haven't talked about it yet, the glider. The glider is, that's just wow. Without the glider, this piece really is nothing. And in my opinion, you can't really have a Green Goblin without that glider. And again, they just went crazy with this thing. I mean, so, you know, we're talking about texture again here still. Look at how much texture is in this piece. I mean, this is like a rough metallic texture, but it's not like, you know, smooth metal. It's not like a car. We're talking like this is a machine of destruction. There's nothing pretty about it. It might look a little cute because this little guy's head here, boop, the snoot. But no, it's actually, it's pretty frightening. It's man, it kind of looks like Rodin actually now that I'm looking at it. But yeah, no, this is like cool looking metal texture. Absolutely not like a car whatsoever. So great job on that. And unfortunately, it's kind of rotating this way, but thanks to the magic of technology, I could stop it, have it rotate this way. Because I want to talk about the explosion as well and some of the texture going on with that. So that's another cool little piece there too. And, you know, I always talk about how much I love the bases on diamond pieces. You know, this one's a little bit different because the entire base is an explosion. Like, this is just a plume of smoke coming out of his glider. You can see it right there. And this is really cool too, because it's just this giant piece of translucent plastic. And it does have some weathering on it, so it is like an orange piece with some white weathering. It's actually orange and white. Or more, maybe more clear, I guess you could say, but it's got some really nice weathering on it. So this thing is like in action. It is floating up there. It's looking really strong. And a very, very cool, important thing here I want to talk about right now, and I'm going to actually even stop the camera and talk about this, is this little thing over here. So I don't know if this is intended to be this way or if it's just a byproduct of the construction, but whatever, either way it is, you've got two nice little holes right over there. So what are you going to do with those holes? Well, what I would recommend is get yourself some very small LED lights or some LED string lights perhaps, and kind of push them through the hole and light it up, and boom, you can now light up this entire base. And that would look amazing. Can you imagine this entire base actually lit up, especially in like a really dark kind of room? You know, point of reference here, I am using some lights, so I think what I'm going to try and do right now is, I'm going to rotate them around a little bit, and I'm going to put my light underneath it, just to show you guys what that's going to look like. Of course, this is a fairly imprecise way of doing it, but okay, you can see exactly what I mean now. Look at how good that looks lit up, especially if you zoom out a little bit more. Oh man, that is menacing. Now, I would still recommend, of course, you get another light to go behind him or something else to kind of accent him. But I mean, look at how devilish this thing looks now, especially with the red on the glider. Now, that is getting your money's worth there for the statue. And in my opinion, that's what you got to kind of do with a lot of these pieces. When they have that, just, you know, light it up, make it your own, tell the story. That's kind of the way I like to put it, is tell the story. Because all these diamond pieces are storytelling pieces. They're not just a flat, stationary piece. They're always in action. They're always doing something. So, you know, why not just go nuts with it? That looks so awesome. Wow. Cannot get over that. You know, I'm actually just going to leave it this way because I like how it looks so much. But I do want to talk about some other details in the meantime. So, yeah, I've already raved about the base. I've already told you how great this glider is. That thing is so cool. I guess while I'm here, I probably should do a proper size check. And yeah, this guy is over a foot tall. Granted, I'm not measuring straight down flat here because he's a little elevated because of the light underneath him. But yeah, he's a little over a foot tall. It's a very big piece. And as far as like the width goes too, again, it's almost, yeah, it's about a foot long too for that wider part on the bottom. So, the very girthy Green Goblin. As always, there's a lot of really cool little details as well, and one of those little details would be his exploding pumpkin bombs, which are really awesome looking too. Great little detail. They also have a translucent bit as well. Could you light those up? Maybe. It's a little harder because they're much smaller, but I don't think it's impossible. You might be able to find some little tiny light there. But even if you can't, I mean, still, the red is pretty awesome, so you don't necessarily need to have it. But the interesting thing about this piece is that there aren't really a lot of tiny little details. There's really not much subtlety to the Green Goblin, and that kind of makes sense because it's just like the character. He's not the most subtle. He's very much in your face, very loud, very powerful, very brash kind of character. So yeah, it makes sense that he's not going to be doing anything too subtle. And really, it's that lack of subtlety that kind of makes this piece awesome, really. I think I've used that word a lot in this video. I think it's probably the word of the video, in fact. But it's true, because this thing really does inspire awe when you look at it. And especially when you light up that bottom part, because wow, that thing is glowing. That is gorgeous. But yeah, no, the Goblin is amazing. This is a wonderful piece. I wasn't sure what to expect with it. I knew it was going to be a very big piece, but I didn't quite know. Like Spider-Man stuff can go either way. But this Goblin here, wow, what an amazing villain. This, I don't know if Diamond's done other Green Goblin pieces in the past. I'm sure they must have. If you missed out on those, I mean, this is one you definitely want to pick up because, man, they nailed every element of it, from the face to the texture, the costume, the colors too, I should mention, are gorgeous. There's also no paint slop anywhere, so I haven't even mentioned paint because there's nothing. This is like a flawless Green Goblin right here. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. This thing is flawless. I really don't see any imperfections with it. On the little tiniest nitpicky scale, I have nothing to really say about it. The design is great too. I mean, it's a very simple design, but it works. It's all about just coming right at you and centering you in the piece because of how the guy is positioned here. It's all just real superb. This is a great piece. It's a knockout statue. Highly recommend it. So if you want to pick up this piece for yourself, go ahead and check out my Amazon affiliate links in the description below. If you use those links, it helps support this YouTube channel at no extra cost to you. And I really mean it. I think this Goblin is worth adding to your collection. Whether you got a Spider-Man to go with it, or it's just a standalone, or you have your own Marvel Rogues gallery, it doesn't matter. I mean, this thing is just wow. This is a wow piece. Especially, like I said, if you do light it up, you'll see how great this thing looks. This is a piece you get, and you just display it, everybody goes, wow, where'd you get that thing from? I can't say enough good things about it, so definitely going to give it a high recommend. But let me know what you think about this piece in the comments below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? What could they have done differently? Or if you already own this piece, let me know where it's sitting in your collection. But that's it for my look at the Diamond Select PVC Gallery diorama figure of Green Goblin, and I clearly like it a lot more than I thought I would, because wow. I'm just going to keep saying wow. So until next time, I'm Matthew. This has been Nerd News Today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys later.